Tierney. To your right hand side, we've got our elite director of rugby and elite performance, apologies. And then in the centre, we've got the new Wales head coach, Steve Tandy. We're going to start with that.
Okay. Thanks, Simon. I'm delighted to be here today to formally introduce Steve to Welsh Rugby. He's where he belongs, in the changing room here. I think it's such a pivotal appointment right at the heart of our strategy and rebuilding Welsh Rugby. We went through a really thorough process, and I've spoken to a number of you and said Steve absolutely shone throughout the whole of the process, and I absolutely believe you've got the best man for the job. Now it's about giving him the right support, giving him the time he needs to help us rebuild Welsh Rugby. So I'm really excited. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you very much.
We'll hear from Dave Reddin.
Just to add to that, I think Steve showed throughout a really thorough process that he was the outstanding candidate and is absolutely the right person for the job. He and I both know we've got a big job on our hands rebuilding going forwards, but I'm super excited to be working alongside him and supporting him as we aim for the future.
Thank you, Dave. We're going to start with questions, so we'll start with Ian from BBC in front.
Steve, congratulations, welcome back to Wales. First of all, just tell us how proud you feel to be sat here as the new Wales head coach.
Oh, look, I think the privilege and the honour to be getting the head coach of the national country is massive. Being in the change rooms is even better. Huge pride from the sense of family and the people, and what a great rugby nation it is. So, yeah, just absolute massive pride and an honour.
WRU saying you are absolutely the right man for the job. Can you tell us in your own words why you feel you are the right man for the job?
Well, I think very kind words. And I think probably the biggest thing is they've seen me. Definitely through the process, it was nothing but me and around that, and I could generally be myself in the way I seen it. And I think me as the person, loving coaching so much, and the journey I've been on from the time of the Ospreys going to the Waratahs and things, that has given me experiences that people have come across as going to enable me to be part of this opportunity to rebuild Welsh Rugby, and again with an exciting group of young players. And like Dave said, there's a path that we're going to go on and a journey we're going on. But I think my coaching experience and the experiences that I've had other side of the world and from different environments will hold me in good stead to do that.
You take on.
That's the thought of that answer.
You take on the job at arguably one of the most difficult points in Welsh rugby history. So, what is your magic wand? How do you dig Wales out of the hole that they've got into? How do you put a smile back onto people's faces?
I don't think it's a magic wand. I think, like Dave said, it's being connected, and obviously speaking to Abi and Dave and around the vision of where we want to go to as well, and how to get Wales back to where we want to be. So for me, it's going to be collective, and I think that goes back to part of what I believe in is collaborative and building systems, but also engaging with not only the national team, but the 20s programme, regions, the community. So I feel that is why I feel it is a challenge, but every nation has challenges as well. But I think that's where it's exciting of where we want to go to and around that.
The Union has said that they want to see Wales back in the top 5 by around 2029. So have you been told that's the target? What are the targets? Do you feel you have a squad of players who can get back to being amongst the best in the world?
Yeah, I believe in the talent we have in Wales to get us to the journey we want to go. And I think there's always, ultimately you want to have ambition. We want to have ambition to be, like you said, those targets. But ultimately there's a process to get to that as well. And with a young group, we have to nurture them. We have to connect them, we have to coach them, we have to be around them more than probably any time before, because they are a young group. But I think that is where the ambition we want to go to, but ultimately we have to build performances, and incrementally throughout campaign to campaign we have to be better, and making sure we're looking inward at how we can build that performance through the young exciting group we've got.
And at the moment there's a lot of talk obviously of what the future of Welsh Rugby is going to look like in terms of the regions. Talk of going from 4 to 3 or even 2. What is your take on that? Do you agree with that, bearing in mind you come from Scotland where of course they have 2 provinces?
Look, I think for me coming in, we've got to build something that suits us and not following anyone else, because even Scotland, they've got a programme. There are still challenges within any programme, but I think we've got to build something that suits us. And again, I'm coming in with my eyes wide open around it, and it's ultimately what we want is, like you said, we want Wales to be back to where we belong and where we want to be, but actually there's a lot of work that goes in behind that, and everyone in around the union and the clubs will want Wales to be back being really competitive, and how that looks I'm not quite sure yet, but I know where the intention is to be.
But as a former Ospreys head coach, having worked at that region, you know how devastating that would be, for example, if the Ospreys were to go or to merge, say for instance, with the Scarlet.
Yeah, and I think that's where, I suppose that's the beauty of Wales, is around the pride and around the affinity to things, but also we've got to be real in around where we need to go to. And I think if we take everything aside, because there'll be supporters from not only the regions but clubs as well that will feel things and around that, but ultimately we've got to focus on where we need to be. And I know it's hard because emotion plays a massive part around the game, and it's one of our strengths, but it has to be a focus of where we want to go to, how can we align ourselves better and create something that everyone can really buy into, but also for us to be competitive, not just in the national game, right across Wales as a nation. Thank you very much. Thank you.
When you left the Ospreys in 2018, could you ever envisage sitting where you are now, about to embark on your biggest challenge?
No, I'm not so much a person that thinks too far ahead anyway, irrelevant of the situation. The one thing that's really driven me from the start is I want to be the best person and best coach I can possibly be. So, and I am a genuine believer in that you can reflect, and there's some growth in around every moment, whether it be a negative, more perceived negative moment of leaving the Ospreys, but ultimately you've got choices of how you want to get better. Are you going to sit there and blame, or are you going to actually reflect? And there were some amazing times I had around the Ospreys, and probably the older I get, the more experiences, the more things I learn, I can reflect on how potentially I could have been better in around things. But for me, never envisaged probably sitting back here, but ultimately my drive has always been to be better and to be the best coach and person I can be for the players, and make sure I'm immersed in the environment and the things that are around it that can really make a difference to the players. So that's been always at the centre of who I am. Did I ever think I'd be a Lions coach? No. Did I ever think I'd coach the Waratahs? No. But I think it's surprising what happens when you have the mindset to be better, to understand as well that you have got blind spots, you have got things to work on. I think that goes from playing days, coaching days. So I think it's all the hard work that's gone into that, and I've been very, very fortunate to have had amazing people around me, in around, well, be every environment I've been to, I've taken so much learning, and going out of my real comfort zone to Australia, the people, just the players, just took it for who you were. And then it was really surprising, if you're a good human being, you've got intention, who will come to help you and offer advice and shape you. And also my family, like learning about being a young family, moving away, that teaches you lots of things in life as well, which I think in turn makes you a better coach. And then fortunately, I loved the time of the Waratahs, then Scotland, amazing time, and then becoming a Lions coach and being able to sit in this seat. And I think all those experiences on and off the field will give me the opportunity to show what I can do as a coach and really immerse myself in part of this rebuilding around Wales rugby.
You'll have to hit the ground running, both with all the internationals and so forth. In terms of your backroom staff, are you hoping to keep the nucleus of those who served Wales in Japan?
Dave and I, we've started discussions, and I think the boys in Japan did a great job, and obviously getting that result is a credit to them, because in fairness to them, it was a short turnaround, big seasons, long seasons as well, and in the current losing streak at the time. So I think they've done a great job, but it's a blank canvas, and I think it's making sure, like I said, Dave and I have started having conversations, but making sure that we get the right people in the right roles, not just for the autumn, but also the longer term growth of us as a nation, and getting the right people in those seats. Thank you very much.
You're a very young assistant coach and then head coach of the Ospreys.
Yeah.
Just give us an impression of how different you are from the person who left Wales professionally, and what it was about all those other experiences specifically that put you in a better position now.
where do I start that one? Right. I think growing up, I've always had, and the way I've been brought up and the way I am as a family man, I know who I am as a person, and I'm very loyal and very clear. I'd like to think around what I am, but I know, and I think that served me really well, my integrity and around the Ospreys and things of what I was as a person. But even when I was in the role as the Osprey coach, I knew I had blind spots, but then having the opportunity to go to Australia to see different cultures for a start, seeing the Aussie mindset, whereas in Wales we're very good at seeing the worst in each other and actually not looking at what we could be or that culture. So like when the first session in Australia, you see the Aussie boys, they drop a few balls, whereas probably in Wales we'd get really negative, but they were, imagine if we caught those balls, how good we'd be. So I think just those different things of opening up your mindset around it, then being around different players, and that's where obviously being a defensive coach, being around brilliant attackers with the Ospreys and Wales, but then learning how brilliant attackers work in Australia. Then you've got to go and combine things with the Lions. Then Scottish mindset is different, and we've had great coaches. Darryl Gibson was a massive influence on me becoming a better teacher. And then obviously the Lions was just a whole new experience. Gregor and the environment with Scotland about growth and being better and learning and experiencing different things outside the sport. I believe that is where I've grown. I'm definitely more mature, I would say, whereas probably maybe want to fight too many things early doors with the Ospreys, but that was part of my growth and development. I think all of that enables you to reflect on where you were, where you've come from as well, but also it doesn't stop because you become national coach. I want to be a better coach tomorrow, keep growing this environment. So for me, and that's where Dave and Abi are great around talking about putting the support around me, because there is no magic wand. There is, but I want to create a belief in around this inexperienced young group of where we can go to in the future. And I believe the experience that I've had along the way, and there's been where you veer off the track and you make mistakes, but I think it's been brilliant to make mistakes in different environments. So yeah, a long-winded answer. So yeah, it's been amazing. And I think the reflection back, I'm definitely learned from more experiences. I've got more skills to my bow than I did back then.
You coached against Wales in the Six Nations, you'd watched the Japan series. I wonder what you made of them then, in that period, given the job ahead of you now.
Do you want me to start with Six Nations?
During the Six Nations.
Yeah, so, look, I think, as a Welshman, I want Wales to win, apart from when I was with Scotland. But and I know a lot of the boys, like I know people who are attached to it as well, and I know how much they care and how passionate Wales are. So I hate the fact of seeing Wales being on the streak, but also I want to win. So when we come here, but something, little moments you get detached from it when you get away from Wales, in the fact of because you're learning, you're on experiences and you immerse certain environments. But one thing I'll say is in the Six Nations, one of the games when we played back here a couple of years ago, the crowd and the stadium, when there was momentum shift, there's nothing like it. And I've been into some amazing places, amazing environments, but when I was out there at half-time, when we were up convincingly, that changed. That was something that, oh my God, like I was in the opposite side, I realised what a force that can be and how inspiring that can be for the players that are out there. So is that, and look, I think the way the boys have gone to perform and show resilience in Japan, because there are tough conditions. There are some of the boys, like a couple of boys in the Lions, a couple of boys who may have been on that tour, and then losing the first test, it shows me there's character and there's resilience in the group to see that out, because it did become sticky in more ways than one at the back end of the game. So, yeah, look, I think we understand of where we're at, but I think now it's brilliant that we've got that result, but now it's about building and incrementally building. There's not going to be a magic wand or it's going to be a quick fix and then all changes. But I do believe in the path we're going on. I believe in younger boys that you can get them to adapt and accelerate their learning by coaching, being around them and being really immersed in their lives and how they go about playing the game and being around and what it means to actually represent this unbelievably proud nation. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, just one from me, Steve. Just wondered, first of all, how difficult was it to leave the Scotland job? And secondly, you touched on it then, but just explain maybe the impact that Greg Townsend has had on your coaching career?
Yeah, look, I think leaving Scotland, I'm not going to lie, was really tough. It was really tough, but I think there probably isn't many jobs that I would have left Scotland for or asked to leave, and this is definitely probably the only one you'd go to in around the international game because, A, the passion you've got for it, and I know everyone goes about the challenges, but surely that's a bit of excitement as well because change will have to happen and then we can build something. So that for me was huge, and ultimately I'm a Wales fan. I grew up as a kid wanting to play for Wales, wanting to be part of it. So now is my opportunity, which I think I can help. Going back to Gregor and the Scotland environment, look, Gregor's had a major influence on me, as have other coaches, but I think we're different people as well. So I've obviously defence mindset, but again, Darryl and Gregor are attack mindset. So that has definitely shaped how we want to defend, but also opening your mind up to see it through different lenses. Gregor was massive as well on getting out your comfort zone, go to different places, whether it be, as an example, I went to Melbourne Storm, spent a month there, then you go to AFL, then it might be storytelling ladies, it could be people on Zoom. So he was very much a curious person and always tried to think outside the box to grow, and he really encouraged that. And then building environments of the boys to be themselves and bring the best out of themselves when they come into camp. So again, it was a brilliant environment to be in. The players as well, they were incredible to work with, and then how Scotland made my family feel, the engagement they got there, the support where we live in North Berwick, the support. So I can't So what I'm going to say is it was absolutely tough, but I think that tells you about the excitement and this job and where we're going to go to this, because it wouldn't be for many places I'd leave. And speaking to Dave and Abi, where we're going to go to and the belief, and I see the players, and the first and the lastly is I'm a passionate Welshman. I want Wales to be putting in performances that everyone can get behind, because I know what the support is like, and getting back to the vision of where we want to be as a rugby nation.
From you, Phil? Yeah. Anybody else? Everyone happy? Just Chris?
You spoke about being a coach. Are you ready for being a figurehead?
Oh, that's a great question, because I think that's where just like having chats with Dave, and again, part of my growth is also understanding when you're coming into these roles about how it does change. So I'm massively passionate about defence, but it does change. You have to lead, and again, I lead in my own way in around that, but also you have to grow people and connect people. So I think the realisation, and that's the exciting bit that I feel through my journey, I've seen it in action in lots of places where some things you don't like, some things, oh my God, that could work in Wales. Or you see like Gregor's got things, like Gats are things, you had Darryl Gibson, so there's all bits that I believe, and I'm very open-minded, and I think I'm very reflective of how that's going to change. It is going to change. It's changing today after being here for an hour. That's new to me. So it's understanding that things are going to change for me, but also knowing that I've got great support around me, and that's where when we go into assistant coaches and the regions, the more we connect that, it'll be more than about one person. It'll be about the team and the collective.
Everyone, anyone want to add anything? We're all happy. Excellent. Thank you very much. That's the formal proceedings.